In the last lecture, we created a new walk by using the post keyword. In this one, we will get all the walks back using the get keyword. So now we want to create a new action method in our walks controller to get all the walks back from the database. So I'll put a comment first. This is to get the walks, and the HTTP verb for this will be get, and the endpoint will be /API/walks, because this will not have any route to this. It will follow the route of the controller itself. So now let's define the structure for this method. So public async task of type iActionResult, and this will be get all. Get all doesn't take any input parameter, so that is fine. We want to decorate this method with the HTTP get keyword. So HTTP get attribute. And now let's define the repository method that we can use inside the controller. So I will go to repositories. I will open the iWalk repository and will create the definition first. So this will be the get all method, and this won't require any input parameters. As a return type, it will give a task of type list of walk, and let's rename this to get all async to follow the convention. Now we have the definition ready. We want to create the concrete class or the implementation of this method. So let's come to SQL walk repository, and let's click on this interface because it will be complaining, and press Ctrl dot to implement the remaining methods in this interface. So this is the get all async method. We will use the DB context again to get the walk from the database. So let's say use the await, and with the await we want to use the async keyword as well. So await DB context dot walks DB set, not the table, dot to list async, which is coming from the ASP.NET the Entity Framework core package. And now we can easily just return the list back. And the get all method is quite simple to use from the DB context. We just return a list of the walks back. So now in the walks controller, we can use the repository because we have already injected this. So we can just directly use it. So I can say await the walk repository dot get all async method, and let's store this in a variable. So let's say this is a variable for walks domain model. And if you remember, we don't pass the domain model back. We have to map domain model to DTO. And we use this mapping through AUTOMAPPER. We already have defined a mapping between the walk domain model and the walk DTO. So we just use AUTOMAPPER. So let's say if we return an OK response, and as an object we use the mapper.map, map this to a list of the walk DTO because it can have multiple records. That's why I'm using a list, and the source of this one is the walks domain model. And with that, we have the get all method defined for the walks controller. So let's run our application to see if we are getting all the results back. Let's scroll down to the walks endpoint, and we want to test the get all walks method. So expand that, click on the try it out button and hit the execute button. We see the success response, which is 200, and we see a list of walks, which at the moment only has one walk, and it is giving us all the information back from the database. The information is coming out to be exactly what we needed, but we are seeing identifiers over here. Like in the result, we can't see what this difficulty was for this walk. Was it easy, was it difficult, or otherwise, and we don't even know what region was this in. So we are missing some information which is present in other tables, but we can't get the information directly, but Entity Framework Core has a way to get the related table information like the region information and the difficulty information inside the walk information over here, and that is what is navigation properties. So we will discuss that in the next lecture.